Imagine standing on the shores of Spain in 1492, watching three ships disappear over the horizon. Their mission? To find a faster route to Asia. What they found instead changed the world forever. This is the story of early globalization, the age of exploration that connected Europe, Africa, and the Americas in ways both revolutionary and tragic. In this video, we'll uncover how empires were built, how cultures collided, and how sugar and silver reshaped the world. The late 15th and early 16th centuries marked a turning point in world history. European nations, especially Portugal and Spain, raced to explore and claim new lands. Their goals were clear: wealth, power, and the spread of Christianity. But their ventures also brought massive consequences, especially for indigenous peoples and enslaved Africans. Portugal began this push under Prince Henry the Navigator, establishing trade routes down the African coast and building a web of outposts that would form the backbone of a global empire. The Portuguese soon saw profits not only from spices and gold, but from sugar and human lives. Sugar plantations on Atlantic islands like Madeira and Cape Verde were the testing grounds for the transatlantic slave trade. Meanwhile, Spain was consolidating its power after centuries of Islamic rule. With the marriage of Ferdinand and Isabella, a united Spain set its sights westward. In 1492, they completed the Reconquista and agreed to fund the Genoese sailor Christopher Columbus. Though he thought he had reached Asia, Columbus instead landed in the Bahamas, touching off an age of exploration, conquest, and colonization. Portuguese and Spanish expansion. Portugal focused on trade routes and outposts, small but powerful. Elmina Castle in West Africa became a key hub for gold and the growing trade in enslaved Africans. These practices would only expand as demand for labor surged in the New World. Spain, on the other hand, built an empire of conquest. Explorers like Columbus, Hernán Cortés, and Francisco Pizarro ventured into the Caribbean, Mexico, and South America, driven by dreams of gold and glory. They brought weapons, horses, and European diseases, and their conquests toppled mighty empires like the Aztecs and Incas. But these victories weren't just about European superiority. Native groups like the Tlaxcalans allied with Cortés to overthrow Aztec rule. Disease, particularly smallpox, played a devastating role, killing millions and weakening native resistance long before full-scale battles began. Religious turmoil and rivalries. Back in Europe, the Protestant Reformation was splitting Christianity apart. Martin Luther's 95 Theses in 1517 and John Calvin's teachings in the 1530s challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. Protestant and Catholic nations now saw colonization not just as a race for territory, but for souls. Spain remained fiercely Catholic, launching campaigns against Protestant nations. The failed invasion of England by the Spanish Armada in 1588 marked a shift in power. England, newly Protestant, began to emerge as a rising imperial force, launching privateers to raid Spanish ships and experimenting with colonization. England, France, and the Dutch joined the race. Though they came late to colonization, England, France, and the Dutch carved out footholds in the Americas. The English tried and failed to colonize Roanoke, the lost colony, before succeeding with Jamestown in 1607. Settlers there suffered from famine, disease, and tense relations with native groups. Puritans seeking religious freedom established Plymouth in 1620 and later the Massachusetts Bay Colony. These settlements were religious as well as economic ventures. The French focused on trade, especially fur, establishing Quebec and building alliances with native peoples like the Huron. The Dutch, driven by commerce, created New Netherland and trading posts throughout the Caribbean. Labor, commerce, and the Columbian Exchange. As colonies expanded, so did the demand for labor. The Spanish created the encomienda system, granting colonists rights to indigenous labor in exchange for supposed Christian instruction. In practice, it was brutal slavery. When indigenous populations declined due to disease and overwork, Europeans turned more heavily to African slaves. Sugar, tobacco, and later cotton plantations depended on this labor. Africans were taken by the millions across the Atlantic, often held in places like Elmina Castle before enduring the horrific Middle Passage. Meanwhile, the Columbian Exchange transformed diets, economies, and ecologies on both sides of the Atlantic. Europe gained crops like corn, potatoes, and tobacco. The Americas received horses, pigs, wheat, and deadly diseases like smallpox and measles. Let's take a deeper look at the Columbian Exchange, the global mixing bowl that reshaped ecosystems and societies. Think about sugar. It wasn't just a sweetener. Sugar became as valuable in the 16th century as oil is today. Caribbean islands turned into sugar factories, worked by enslaved Africans in backbreaking conditions. A vicious cycle was born. Sugar fueled profits, profits fueled the slave trade, and the slave trade fueled even more sugar production. Or consider tobacco. Native Americans had long used it for rituals, but Europeans turned it into a commodity. Tobacco farming spread through Virginia and beyond, driving both settlement and slavery. Even chocolate had a cultural journey. The Aztecs consumed it unsweetened, mixed with chili and spices. Spaniards initially called it the devil's vomit, but then added sugar and made it a luxury in European courts. But the exchange wasn't all flavor and profit. Diseases decimated native populations. Some communities lost up to 90% of their people. The psychological and cultural toll was incalculable. Even war changed. In eastern North America, the Iroquois waged mourning wars to capture prisoners and replace the dead. These conflicts intensified with each new wave of disease. So what are some key takeaways from this period of early globalization? The Portuguese and Spanish were the first European powers to explore and claim lands motivated by trade, faith, and conquest. The Protestant Reformation added a religious dimension to imperial rivalry, fueling conflict across Europe and the Americas. England, France, and the Dutch joined the race, each bringing their own style of colonization and forming lasting patterns that would shape North America. Labor needs drove systems of forced work, from encomiendas to African slavery, setting the foundation for centuries of inequality. The Columbian Exchange forever changed the world, blending cultures, spreading crops and animals, and leaving a trail of disease and displacement. This was the beginning of a truly connected world, a world where decisions made in European courts or aboard ships could alter the lives of millions across continents. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you understand history, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more lessons that will help you succeed in this class and beyond. See you in the next video.